A silent, perfectly legal transfer of wealth happens every single day inside mechanic shops all over the country, and your car is the key to it all. It's a system built on one fundamental imbalance. The mechanic knows more than you do. That knowledge gap is their most profitable tool, and today we are going to close that gap for good. What you are about to watch is the automotive industry's confidential memo, the list of secrets and high-profit upsells they never wanted you to see. This isn't just about saving a few bucks on an oil change. This is about fundamentally shifting the power dynamic every time you hand over your keys, especially when you're dealing with the potential money pits of a used SUV. If you firmly believe that knowledge is power and you're ready to take the reins of your vehicle's health and your finances, show your support by smashing that like button and subscribing right now. Turn on notifications, because the information we're about to unveil is something you absolutely do not want to miss. Number 1. The cabin air filter goldmine. This is perhaps the single most outrageously overpriced simple maintenance job in the entire automotive repair industry. The cabin air filter is what cleans the air that comes through your vents into the passenger compartment. It gets clogged with dust, pollen, and leaves over time, and it needs to be replaced regularly, usually every 12,000 to 15,000 miles. A mechanic will often show you your filthy old filter and tell you it needs replacement, charging you for the part in a half hour or even a full hour of labor. The total bill can easily be $70, $80, or even over $100. The secret is that on 95% of vehicles, replacing this filter is a task that requires zero tools and takes less than 5 minutes. It is often easier than changing a light bulb in your house. The labor charge is almost pure profit. They are banking on your belief that everything inside a car is complex and requires a specialist. In this case, it's simply not true. Editor's technical briefing. Highlight this section. The cabin air filter is almost always located behind the glove box. To access it, you simply empty the glove box, unclip a small retaining arm on the side, and squeeze the sides of the glove box inward to let it swing down completely. Behind it, you will see a small rectangular plastic cover. Unclip this cover, slide out the old filter, slide in the new one, paying attention to the airflow direction arrow printed on the filter, and put everything back. You can buy the correct filter for your SUV online or at an auto parts store for $15 to $25. A quick search on YouTube for cabin air filter replacement, your car's make and model, will yield dozens of step-by-step video tutorials. This is a 5-minute job that can save you up to $80 every single year. Number 2. Decoding the check engine light yourself. The dreaded check engine light. It appears on your dashboard, glowing ominously, and instantly induces a feeling of panic and financial dread. Your mechanic loves this light. It's a beacon of fear that sends customers rushing to their door, ready to approve almost any repair to make it go away. They plug in their sophisticated diagnostic tool, charge you a hefty diagnostic fee, and then present you with a list of repairs. But the biggest secret they guard is that the initial step of this process, the one that removes all the mystery, is something you can do yourself in your own driveway in less than 5 minutes for the cost of a cheap lunch. The check engine light simply means the car's onboard computer has stored a trouble code related to a sensor reading that's out of its normal range. It doesn't automatically mean a catastrophic failure. The power to understand this light is cheaper and easier to acquire than you've been led to believe. Purchase a basic OBD2 Onboard Diagnostics 2 scanner. These are available online or at any auto parts store for as little as $20. Every car manufactured since 1996 has an OBD2 port, usually located under the dashboard on the driver's side. You simply plug the scanner in, turn the ignition to the on position without starting the engine, and the device will read the code, e.g. P0420, P0301. You can then type that exact code into a search engine, and you'll find hundreds of articles and videos explaining what the code means, its common causes, and the likely repairs needed. A code, P0420, for example, often points to a catalytic converter issue, but its most common cause is actually a failing oxygen sensor, a much cheaper repair. Knowing the code before you go to the shop transforms you from a panicked victim into an informed customer. You can walk in and say, "My car is throwing a P301 code. code, which I know is a misfire in cylinder 1. Can you check the spark plug, ignition coil, and fuel injector for that cylinder? This changes the entire dynamic of the conversation. Number 3. The battery test trick. Your car won't start, or it's cranking over very slowly. You get it to the shop, and the verdict comes back quickly. You need a new battery, and it's going to be $250. The battery is the heart of your car's electrical system, and when it fails, everything stops. Shops know this creates a sense of urgency. The secret is that testing a battery is an incredibly simple process you can do at home to verify its health before you're sold a new one. The issue might not even be the battery itself, but something much simpler and cheaper, like a dirty or loose battery terminal. A mechanic might see this, but it's much more profitable to sell you a new battery than to spend 2 minutes cleaning the terminals with a wire brush. They might be selling you a solution to a problem you don't actually have. Highlight this section. You'll need a simple digital multimeter which can be purchased for about $15. Set it to the DC volts setting. With the car completely off, touch the red probe to the positive, plus battery terminal, and the black probe to the negative terminal. A healthy, fully charged battery should read between 12.4 and 12.7 volts. If it's below 12.4, it's low and needs charging. Now, have a friend start the car while you keep the probes on the terminals. As the engine cranks, the voltage should not drop below 10 volts. If it does, the battery is likely failing and doesn't have enough cold cranking amps. Finally, with the engine running, the multimeter should read between 13.7 and 14.7 volts. This is the alternator charging the battery. If the reading is outside this range, you may have an alternator problem, not a battery problem. This 10-minute test gives you a complete picture of your starting system's health. Also, always check that the battery terminals are clean and tight. Corrosion can be cleaned off with a simple mixture of baking soda and water. Number 4. The brake pad. Upsell. Brakes are a non-negotiable safety item, and workshops often prey on this fact. When it's time for new brake pads, you'll likely be presented with a good, better, best scenario. The best option will almost always be expensive ceramic pads, praised for their low dust and quiet operation. While ceramic pads are excellent, they are often overkill for the average used SUV. The secret is that the better, or even the good option, typically high-quality semi-metallic or organic pads, are often perfectly suited, if not better, for your vehicle's intended use and can save you a significant amount of money. Mechanics have a huge profit margin on high-end ceramic pads. They're not necessarily lying about their quality, but they are omitting the fact that you probably don't need them. For a family SUV that's primarily used for commuting and hauling groceries, the enhanced high-temperature performance of a track-ready ceramic pad is an unnecessary expense. The goal is to match the equipment to the application, not just to sell the most expensive part on the shelf. Semi-metallic brake pads offer excellent braking performance, especially in initial bite, and are very durable, making them a fantastic choice for heavier vehicles like SUVs. They might produce slightly more dust than ceramic, but their stopping power is undeniable, and they are very cost-effective. High-quality organic pads, often called NAO or non-asbestos organic, are quiet and easy on the rotors but may wear faster. For most general-purpose SUV use, a premium semi-metallic pad provides the best balance of performance, longevity, and price. Don't let them scare you into the most expensive option unless you are regularly towing heavy loads down steep mountain passes. Number 5. The squeaky belt misdiagnosis. A high-pitched squeal or chirp coming from the engine bay upon startup, especially on a cold or damp morning, is a common complaint. You take it to the shop, and the immediate diagnosis is often that you need a new serpentine belt, and while they're in there, you should also replace the belt tensioner and maybe an idler pulley or two. This can quickly turn into a multi-$100 repair. While a worn belt can certainly cause noise, the secret is that very often the noise isn't caused by a bad part at all. It can be caused by something as simple as condensation on the belt and pulleys from overnight humidity, or a tiny, almost invisible drop of fluid like power steering fluid or coolant that has leaked onto the belt. Mechanics know this, but replacing parts is where the money is. It's much more profitable to replace a belt and tensioner than to spend 10 minutes cleaning the pulleys. They often jump to the most expensive conclusion first because it's the most profitable one. Before you approve a costly replacement, do some simple diagnosis. First, visually inspect the belt. Look for cracks, fraying, or glazing on the ribbed side. If it looks worn out, it should be replaced. If the belt looks fine, the noise could be temporary moisture that will burn off after a few minutes of driving. A common diagnostic trick is to carefully spray a very small amount of water from a spray bottle onto the ribbed side of the belt while the engine is running and the noise is happening. If the noise temporarily goes away, it's likely a belt or pulley alignment issue. If the noise gets worse, it's more likely a tensioner or bearing issue. A tiny bit of contamination on the pulleys can also cause noise. Sometimes, simply cleaning the pulley grooves with a wire brush, with the engine off, of course, can solve the problem. Number 6. You can source your own parts. When a repair shop gives you a quote, it's broken down into two parts: labor and parts. The labor rate is what they charge per hour for their technician's time. The parts cost is what they charge for the components needed for the repair. What they don't want you to know is that they place a massive markup on the price of those parts. It's not uncommon for a workshop to buy a part for $100 from their supplier and sell it to you for $180, $200, or even more. This is a major profit center for them. The secret is that in most places, you have the right to purchase your own parts and simply pay them for the labor to install them. Many workshops will discourage this. They'll say they can't offer a warranty on the work if you supply the part, or that they can't be sure of the quality. While there's a sliver of truth to the warranty concern, they'll warranty their labor but not the part itself. It's mostly a tactic to protect their profit margin. By becoming an informed parts shopper, you can slash your repair bills significantly. When you get a diagnosis, ask for the specific part numbers required for the job. Then, go online to reputable auto parts websites like Rock Auto, FCP Euro, or even Amazon, and search for those parts. You will be amazed at the price difference. You can often buy the exact same OEM, original equipment manufacturer, brand part the dealer sells, or a high-quality equivalent from reputable aftermarket brands like Bosch, Denso, or Valeo for a fraction of the price. For a used SUV, using high-quality aftermarket parts is a fantastic way to keep maintenance costs down without sacrificing reliability. Present the parts to your mechanic. A good, honest mechanic will have no problem installing customer-supplied parts. They still make their money on the labor. If they flat-out refuse, it might be a red flag that their business model relies heavily on overcharging for parts. Number 7. Understanding OEM versus aftermarket. This is a battle of branding that costs consumers millions. When you need a part replaced, especially at a dealership, you'll be pushed to use an OEM part, which stands for Original Equipment Manufacturer. These are parts made by the same company that originally supplied them to the car maker. The alternative is an aftermarket part, made by a different company. Workshops, especially dealerships, will often imply that aftermarket parts are cheap, unreliable junk that will fail or damage your vehicle. The secret is that this is a massive oversimplification. While there are certainly low-quality aftermarket parts out there, there are also many aftermarket companies that produce parts that are of equal, or in some cases, superior quality to the OEM part, often for a much lower price. In many cases, the company that makes the OEM part also sells the exact same part in a different box under their own brand name as an aftermarket part, for half the price. You are often paying a premium simply for a box with the car manufacturer's logo on it. Highlight this section. Do your research on reputable aftermarket brands. Companies like Bosch, Denso, Aisin, Brembo, and Mahle are often the original equipment manufacturers for brands like Toyota, BMW, and Honda. Buying a Denso oxygen sensor in a Denso box is often identical to buying one in a Toyota box, but it will be significantly cheaper. For a used SUV out of warranty, using top-tier aftermarket parts for things like brakes, filters, alternators, and water pumps is one of the smartest financial decisions you can make. It allows you to maintain your vehicle with high-quality components without paying the dealership's inflated prices for the OEM brand name. Number 8. The fuel injector cleaning deception. Let's kick things off with a classic, a service you've likely been offered on more than one occasion, presented as an almost magical intervention to restore your engine's power and efficiency. The famous professional fuel injector cleaning. They show you complex machines and talk about carbon deposits that are choking your engine. The price is usually steep, justified by the supposed complexity of the procedure. The truth is, while injectors can get dirty over time, in 90% of cases, this professional cleaning is one of the most unnecessary and highest profit margin services for the workshop. Modern fuels, by law, already contain a significant amount of detergents specifically designed to keep injectors and the entire fuel system clean. For a normally functioning car or SUV with no obvious misfires or a drastic loss of performance, this service is like paying for a professional dental cleaning every week. It's simply not necessary. The secret is that a much cheaper preventative solution is often just as effective, if not more so. This is where the empowering information comes in. Instead of spending hundreds of dollars on a service you might not need, you can take a proactive approach. Use a high-quality fuel injector cleaner additive from a reputable brand. Look for products that contain polyethyramine, PEA, as the main active ingredient. This is the most potent and effective chemical for dissolving carbon deposits. The recommendation is to use 1 bottle of this additive in a full tank of fuel every 3,000 to 5,000 miles. This simple habit will continuously maintain your injectors in optimal condition, preventing the very buildup they charge a fortune to remove. Think about it. The workshop's method involves hooking up a pressurized canister of concentrated solvent and running it through the system. Your proactive method does the same thing, just more gently and over a longer period, preventing the problem from ever becoming severe. This is preventative care versus emergency surgery. They sell you the expensive cure. I'm giving you the cheap and easy prevention that makes their service obsolete for most drivers. Number 9. The unnecessary engine flush. Alongside the injector cleaning, the engine flush is another high-profit, low-necessity upsell. The pitch is compelling. They tell you that over time, sludge and harmful deposits build up inside your engine, and a simple oil change isn't enough to get it all out. Their solution is a chemical flush, where they add a harsh solvent to your old oil, run the engine for a few minutes to circulate it, and then drain it all out before adding the new oil. The problem is that modern engine oils are incredibly advanced. They are packed with detergents and dispersants designed specifically to prevent sludge from forming and to hold contaminants in suspension, so they are removed during a regular oil change. The secret is that performing an engine flush on a well-maintained engine is not only unnecessary, but can actually be harmful. Those aggressive solvents can dislodge large chunks of debris that might then clog small oil passages, leading to oil starvation. They can also be harsh on old seals and gaskets, potentially causing new oil leaks to appear. This service is a solution to a problem that, for most car owners, simply doesn't exist anymore. The best way to keep your engine clean is to perform regular oil changes using a high-quality synthetic oil that meets your manufacturer's specifications. Stick to the oil change interval recommended in your owner's manual. If you have a used SUV and you don't know its service history, or if you suspect it has been neglected, a safer approach is to do a couple of short-interval oil changes. For example, change the oil and filter, drive for 1,000 miles, then change it again. This will allow the new oil's detergents to gently clean the engine over time without the risk associated with a harsh chemical flush. A clean engine comes from consistent maintenance, not from a one-time chemical shock treatment. Number 10. The lifetime transmission. Fluid myth. This is one of the most dangerous and costly myths in the modern automotive world, especially for anyone driving a used SUV that's seen a few years and miles. Many manufacturers today, in their quest to advertise lower maintenance costs, label their transmission fluid as lifetime fluid. They claim it never needs to be changed. This sounds great to the consumer, but your mechanic knows the dirty, expensive truth. There is no such thing as a true lifetime fluid. All fluids break down over time due to heat and contamination. The transmission is one of the hardest working and most complex components in your vehicle, generating immense heat, especially in a heavier SUV that might be used for towing or carrying heavy loads. This heat is the enemy of the fluid, causing it to lose its viscosity and lubricating properties. A mechanic might not proactively tell you to change it, because a transmission replacement, which can cost upwards of $5,000, is a far more profitable dependable job than a simple fluid service. They'll happily let you follow the manufacturer's lifetime advice until it's too late. The secret is that lifetime really means the lifetime of the warranty period, not the lifetime of the car. For most automatic transmissions and SUVs, a drain and fill procedure every 40,000 to 60,000 miles is crucial. A drain and fill is not a full flush. A flush can sometimes dislodge debris in older transmissions and cause problems. A drain and fill simply replaces about a third to a half of the old fluid with new, fresh fluid, gradually refreshing the system over time without the shock of a high-pressure flush. Always use the exact specification of transmission fluid recommended by your vehicle's manufacturer, e.g., Dexron 6, Mercon LV, ATF Plug 4. Using the wrong fluid is a guaranteed way to destroy a transmission. The color of your fluid tells a story. Fresh fluid is typically bright red. If you check your dipstick and it's dark brown or black and has a burnt toast smell, it's long overdue for a change. Number 11. The coolant service confusion. Your engine's cooling system is vital, and maintaining it is crucial. When you're told you need a coolant service, you might picture a complex process. Workshops often use this ambiguity to their advantage. There's a big difference between a simple drain and fill and a full coolant flush, and the price difference is significant. A flush involves running chemical cleaners through the system and using a machine to exchange all of the old fluid with new fluid. A drain and fill, much like with transmission fluid, simply drains what's in the radiator and replaces it. The secret is that some shops may charge you for a full, comprehensive flush, but only perform a much quicker and cheaper drain and fill. Because the coolant in the reservoir will be new and brightly colored, you have no easy way of knowing what was actually done. The terminology is intentionally vague to create an opportunity for overcharging. For most modern vehicles, a complete flush is rarely necessary unless the system has been severely contaminated. For example, if oil has mixed with the coolant. A drain and fill, performed at the interval specified in your owner's manual, often around 100,000 miles for modern long-life coolants, is perfectly adequate. Always insist on using the correct type of coolant for your vehicle. There are different formulations, IAT, OAT, HOT, and they are not interchangeable. Using the wrong type can cause corrosion and lead to catastrophic failure. The color is a key indicator. Asian vehicles often use red or pink, European vehicles often use blue or purple, and North American vehicles often use orange or green. When you authorize a coolant service, ask specifically, will this be a pressurized flush or a gravity drain and fill? The price should reflect the answer. Number 12. Tire rotation isn't just about tires. Every service center will recommend a tire rotation every 5,000 to 7,000 miles, and they are absolutely right to do so. It's essential for ensuring your tires wear evenly and maximizing their lifespan. They'll typically charge a modest fee for this service, but the secret isn't about the rotation itself, it's about what a good mechanic is forced to do while performing it. A tire rotation is one of the best free inspections your car can get, and they don't always advertise this fact. In order to rotate the tires, a technician has to take all four wheels off the vehicle. This gives them a clear, unobstructed view of your entire braking system and suspension components at each corner of the car. They are looking at much more than just your tires, and you should be aware of what this service really provides. When the wheels are off, a technician can easily see the remaining thickness of your brake pads, the condition of your brake rotors, check for any leaks from the brake calipers or lines, and inspect the CV boots for tears. They can also get a good look at your struts or shock absorbers for signs of leakage, and check suspension components like control arm bushings and ball joints for wear or play. After a tire rotation, always ask the service advisor, how did the brakes and suspension look while the wheels were off? This shows them you're an informed owner. An honest shop will give you a clear report. A dishonest one might be surprised you asked because they were hoping to find a problem and sell you another service without you realizing they got the free inspection during the rotation. Number 13. The used SUV pre-purchase inspection, blind spots. This is the ultimate secret, the one that can save you from a catastrophic financial mistake. When you're buying a used SUV, the smartest thing you can do is pay an independent mechanic for a pre-purchase inspection, PPI. You're paying them to be your expert eyes, to find any hidden problems before you buy. But the secret is that you have to be very careful about which mechanic you choose. If the seller of the vehicle recommends a friendly shop just down the road, be wary. Unscrupulous shops can have relationships with used car lots or private sellers. They might perform a superficial inspection and give the vehicle a clean bill of health, conveniently missing a slow oil leak, a subtle transmission issue, or signs of a previous accident. They get a kickback from the seller, and you get stuck with a lemon. The integrity of your inspector is the single most important factor in a pre-purchase inspection. Highlight this section. When seeking a PPI for a used SUV, never use a mechanic recommended by the seller. Find your own highly rated independent specialist. Specifically ask the mechanic to check for certain key SUV issues. Ask them to check the transfer case fluid for proper level and condition. Have them carefully inspect the CV joints and boots, as these are common wear items on all-wheel drive systems. Request that they look for any signs of rust or damage on the frame, which can be a bigger issue on body-on-frame SUVs. Also, have them use a paint thickness gauge on the body panels to detect any hidden bodywork or repainting from a past accident. Be clear that you are paying them to find reasons not to buy the car. This sets the right tone and encourages them to be thorough and critical, protecting you from buying someone else's expensive problems.